This is the first edition of the River Ave Rotation. My name is Rivera. I'm going to be joined shortly by my Empire State of Baseball co-host, Mr. Tom Wospil. And Tom, it's like old times again. I mean, back in the day, it'd be Savage in the Bronx. The old theme be going off. I'll be banging a notepad off my head. But we're calming it down now because for the first time under the Empire State of Baseball umbrella, we bring you the first ever Yankees exclusive program here on YouTube. Tom, how you doing today?
Doing good. Excited to kick off the new show here. Got some awesome guests lined up from across Yankees Twitter. So probably a lot of faces and names, or at least names you're probably familiar with. Going to be able to put some faces to those names. So I think it's gonna be exciting for everyone. I'm excited. Let's get this going.
Well, let's get this going. And a reminder, and our chat's already going nuts already. We're gonna highlight some few chats shortly. Before our live stream, we are live on both X, YouTube, and Twitch. Now, if you're on X and Twitch, we thank you so much for joining us. But the party's over on YouTube. Come and join one of the best comment streams over the last couple of months. I mean, it's been electric. Yesterday, we were like 97 people on Empire State of Baseball. Want to go over that number for a debut episode here on the channel, Empire State of Baseball, and for today's River Ave Rotation. And let's take a look at some of the members of the chat. Beaver got, I feel like this is a Simpsons like call joke here, but what's up, guys? Sierra, of course, we got to shout it out to Sierra. We got Jack Esposito. What's going on? Jack, Staten Island native. My guy Ghost is in the building. We also have NFE, the Strike Zone. Give NFE a shout and a follow over on his YouTube page. We got Boogie Down Bombers. What's going on? He's joining us from Twitch. Come on, from X rather. Come on over to YouTube, Boogie. This is where the fun's at. And Sean Browning is also in the building. And Hitman. Also got to shout out my Yankees Vibes folks. Hitman, Ghost, and Sierra. Give them a follow at Yankees Vibes on X. But today, Tom, we're not alone. We're joined by an expert panel, to say the least. A couple of members of our rotation is already backstage. So let's start bringing them up here. First, starting with this gentleman who I met a couple of months ago over the spaces. He is the host of Yankees Pod, the founder of the Sports Chill, the Jimmy Randazzo show. Of course, I just spoiled it, but it is Jimmy Randazzo. What's going on, Jim? How you doing today?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
What's up? I mean, we got to be feeling good, right? 5-0 going into tonight's game. Obviously, we're going to get more into the Yank stuff. But, Jimmy, while you're on, when and how did you get into Yankees baseball?
So, my dad is a psychopath Yankees fan. I shouldn't say psychopath. He's much more calm than I am, but he has all superstitions. We were going to the games in 1995 when Don Mattingly was on the team. He sat with Sister Marguerite. Tori happened to during the World Series, and when they won in 96, we just thought it was easy. So, yeah, that was basically back in the day when I was watching Donny baseball, just a wee little kid. And, yeah, I've been a fanatic ever since.
No, amazing stuff. And we're going to keep going with our panel here today. And Jimmy, again, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't around for the Dynasty years, so I did miss out on that. I know, Thomas, you're a Dynasty baby. So I'm sure, Thomas, when did you get into Yankees baseball? You had been right before the Dynasty as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy and I sounds like we have a very similar upbringing there. I come from a family of Yankee fans, a family you really don't have a choice. Not that I'd want a different choice, but, you know, we're all Yankee fans. And I remember going to games when I was little. My dad's favorite player was Don Mattingly, so I feel that. And then I remember 96. I was 7. So very impressionable time for me. And then, yeah, like I thought like, oh, we just win the World Series. This is fun. This Derek Jeter guy is pretty cool. So yeah, like that really kind of shaped it for me, from a young age.
All right. Well, good stuff here. And we're going to bring on our next panelist, our next member of the River Ave rotation for tonight's episode. He is the host of Yankees Morning Brew. He is the founder, or at least one of the founding members of Morning Brew Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, Hector Beauchamp is in the building. How's it going, Hector?
What it do, fellas? How are you doing? I just got to say, we got some handsome bastards on this panel right now. Shout out to you, Rich. Shout out to Tom, my guy, Jimmy Randazzo.
My guy, Hector. Hector, question for you, sir. Again, you're starting off with a fun question. When and how did you get into Yankees baseball?
Oh man, I've told this story several times. Shout out to the chat, everybody that's out there. But I come differently than Tom. I grew up in a household full of Met fans, like my uncles, grandfather, everybody were diehard Met fans, and my mom, God bless her, single mother, diehard Met fan, but she wanted to have that rivalry in the house. So obviously the Yankees in the late 90s, they were winning and stuff like that. So she pushed me to be a Yankee fan so we could have that inner, like in the house rivalry going back and forth. And I love her for it. I still talk baseball with her to this day. Last year, Celso and I, we took her to a Mets game. And I kid you not, you can ask Celso, we get to the game and she just totally tunes us out and is just focused on the game, don't care about nothing else. My mom was one of those ladies that would score the game. So she taught me at a young kid how to score the game. Each position, the different rules and stuff. So my mom's an OG.
Sounds like Rich.
One of her first early memories is Catholic school, St. Peter Clavers, when the Mets were in the World Series, and sister, whatever her name is, rolled in the TV, and that's when the Mets won the World Series. So I always have that memory. She talks to me about it all the time.
Incredible stuff. And Tom, I know how to do a scorebook. I mean, it's amazing, that story. And I'm thinking about my softball teammates that still don't know how to do a scorebook.
Rich, you do a scorebook. You do a scorebook for men's league softball, and you do it like religiously. You're a psycho.
Okay,
you got a problem.
What's your point? What point are you making here?
You're a psycho and a weirdo.
Special interest. We love you.
Our last member of the rotation is just joining us. Also, hey, Jimmy, you're not alone in the Yankees Pod family because we have another co-host of Yankees Pod. We have Mr. Chris Nieves in the house. What is going on, Chris? Oh, no, Chris is muted.
My guys. What's up, everybody?
What is happening?
Rich, I got an issue here. Normally, I'm on the show, have the biggest beard, and I have been just absolutely donkey slapped by Chris. I think we need a spot starter. I think our fifth spot is open in the rotation. I can't have this.
This is a true evolution of beards right here.
I want to help you out. I want to help you out 1 second, Chris. Turn your phone sideways because you got to show the entire beard, bro. You got to show the entire beard. There you go. There you go, my guy. There you go, bro.
Yes, producer Hector Beauchamp, baby.
The OCD was killing me right now. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I took No Shave November way too far. I won't be like this for the next one, Tom. Don't worry about it. Next one, you will be upscaling me by far. I look like a 12-year-old when I shave, so don't worry about it. You'll have it.
Amazing stuff here. Now, Chris, again, asking the panel, just a fun question here to begin. How and when did you become a fan of the New York Yankees?
Born in the Bronx. I was kind of forced. I don't think I had a choice. I want to say maybe I did. Because I do have a sibling who is a Mets fan, but it's 5 of us and 4 of us became Yankee fans. My mother wasn't a big sports person, but she rooted for the Yankees, obviously. Like it's a Bronx thing. My grandmother as well, who didn't speak any English. Double. Like she was just like, double is all she knew. Home run is all she knew, like as far as English. So I was kind of just born into it. And I think it was 96, I went to my first game with my mother and my aunt, and the experience, man, because obviously that time was our bread and butter, right? Like that 96, 97, 98, 99 team and so on was so prolific in New York. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere you went, it's all you saw. So yeah, that was it. I was kind of born into it.
I got to shout out Sierra. The chat's amazing. We're going to shout you guys out in a bit, but he's not wearing a face mask from Antarctica. Is this real life? We actually see Chris's face on the show. It's amazing. But no, the beard looking fantastic. And shout out to my guy Dane, by the way. Hey, Dane, we're thinking about you, bud. Send out the hearts to my guy Dane. We're thinking about you. We love you. Sending you our best, man. So Dane Huber, everybody, over at NYY Underground. Might have added an extra Y there, guys. All righty, let's get into our show today. And of course, opening week was this last week. Thursday was the traditional opening day. The Yankees went into Minute Maid Park. not the favorite, and they came out sweeping the Houston Astros. They took the first game against the Diamondbacks, headed to game 2 against Zach Gallen tonight at 9:40 Eastern time. Starting with Jimmy, we'll take it around the room. Early takeaways for 5 games into the regular season. What do you got?
So we've been talking a lot about Anthony Volpe. We've been talking a whole lot about Juan Soto. The one thing we haven't been talking about is this bullpen. The bullpen has looked unbelievable. Personally, obviously that's just an afterthought when you have number 22 on the team. I'm wearing the Soto shirt now. We're living it. We're breathing it. We already want to talk contract extension. But when you go into Houston and you sweep, I'm hearing a lot of things. Put Volpe up in the lineup. Keep the lineup consistent right now. The boys are 5-0, but I had to do a little shout out to the bullpen because they've been doing an unbelievable job and they need to continue to do that work with Garrett Cole gone.
Yeah, Hector, same question. We'll throw it to you.
First of all, that was a great response from Jimmy because the bullpen has been killing it. But for me, I just want to take a second to shout out. It's not going to be any of the players, anything like that. Much respect to the players, but I want to take a second to shout out Aaron Boone and both Brian Cashman, right? I know a lot of Yankee fans like Jimmy. He's about to get upset that I brought them up. But when you look at the team that we have right now, it is a stark difference than the team that we had last year. Right. And it's easy just to point to the acquisition of Juan Soto, but you got to give credit to Aaron Boone when it comes to trusting his guys and getting the best out of his guys. Oswaldo Cabrera, perfect example. I have the pleasure of interviewing Oswaldy, amazing human being. I just want to say that first and foremost, but he is the definition of taking that opportunity and running with it. When you see what he's doing on the field, that energy that he breathes, it's infectious. Everybody can just pick up on it, and everybody's just having fun in that Yankees dugout. Jimmy, don't kill me with your beautiful eyes that you got over there.
Hey, Jimmy, how about that Oswaldo Cabrera over there?
Oswaldo's playing great. Listen, last year in the offseason, I got mad at IKF. IKF showed me up. This year, Oswaldo is my practice dummy, and he's been looking great. We're 3% through the season. We're not going to get too high or too low. We're 5 games through, guys. Yeah. So water will find its level with Oswaldo Cabrera, with Aaron Judge, who obviously, if you're bashing Aaron Judge 5 games through, I'm removing your pinstripes. So just don't do that. But Oswaldo's look great. What can I say? I'm not going to sit here and congratulate Aaron Boone for having Juan Soto on his roster and Alex Verdugo on his roster. But he has had a consistent lineup at least a little bit so far through.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we're not even whole. We're 5-0, and this team is not even whole right now. We're still missing Garrett Cole. Jason Dominguez is not back yet, and DJ LeMahieu, God bless his foot if he ever decides to come back.
And some decent back-end bullpen options as well. So this team is not full, as Hector mentioned. And to your point, Jimmy, when it comes to Aaron Judge, I mentioned to Hector, you think about his 2022 MVP season. He started off the season cold. 250 batting average, 11 of 44, just 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 14 Ks in that span. So for the fans that are losing their minds and saying, oh, this Judge kid stinks. No, Aaron Judge is going to figure it out. It's a slow start for him. Also, historically bad numbers against the Houston Astros. He will come into his own eventually. Not worried there whatsoever. Chris, how about you? Early season takeaways, 5 games in to the regular season. What do you got?
All right, so my most important thing right now, I wrote this down because I had some of the numbers mixed up when we had some conversations earlier. Games 1 through 5, opposing total pitches. You have 171 pitches, 177 the third game, 162 the first game, and 161 the fifth game. That is the key to success, right? You're getting these starters out very, very early. This is not, 4-pitch strikeouts anymore with this team. This team is working through counts. Even yesterday, all the guys that went 0-for, you had Soto, Rizzo, Stan, and Verdugo. All 0-for-3, 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 0-for-3. 2 walks, 1 walk, 1 walk, 1 walk. They're still getting to the plate. Again, this previous team last year would have just been like a Stanton, right? That's 0-for-4, 3 Ks, and a ground out. but he's walking. 87 total pitches between Soto, Rizzo, Stanton, and Verdugo. So again, they're not getting the hits yesterday. Like the hits weren't there for them, but they're still working the pitches. That is major for success because our lineup can beat any bullpen that's in this major league level. You get the starter out, and then you beat up the other guys. So I think that's a huge key to our success right now.
Absolutely. I think that's even massive for just game ones of a series to just set the tone right there, try to knock out a starting pitcher early, go into that bullpen, and now you've impacted the next couple of games of that set. So that's a great point there, Chris. Fantastic there. Thomas, how about you, sir? My fellow co-host of Empire State of Baseball, holding it down on Mondays at 8 o'clock, trying to take on two Mets fans over in Corey Fabs and Joe Puglisi. But Tom, what are your early takeaways this season?
So I know Jimmy hit on it a little bit, but I do want to talk a little about Anthony Volpe. I talked about him a little bit last night on our show, and I think Yankee fans last year were pretty split on him. They either were very happy and impressed with what he did, as his rookie year, and then there was a group that I would find myself in that maybe, not saying they weren't unimpressed, but they weren't giving him his flowers. I don't think it was a good year necessarily for Anthony Volpe. And if I'm going to be honest, I think there's a lot of Yankee fans that if Anthony Volpe was a kid from Texas or a kid from the Dominican or a kid from Venezuela, he would not get the same love as a kid from the Jersey Shore who grew up a Yankee fan who loved Derek Jeter. That factored in, and I think people really did give him more leeway because of that. But what we're seeing at him this year, talking about seeing pitches, his swing path has changed, getting more level, getting more singles, doubles. Anthony Volpe projects to be a leadoff hitter, and I agree with Jimmy. I don't want him to be a leadoff hitter in 2 weeks. I think they should keep him where he is. But if you want him to be a leadoff hitter, you need him seeing pitches, you need him getting on base, stealing bases, all that kind of stuff. And it's like a new player in front of us. He even looks better defensively this year. Really impressed with what Volpe has. I've been a fan of him, and I still would continue to be. And I love seeing him. His year 2 progression is massive so far.
That's far. I mean, so far so great. I mean, you can't ask for much more out of Anthony Volpe. Of course, he was out of the lineup Sunday, and it just felt like, hey, this guy clears the system Monday. He's going 4 for 4. I mean, this guy's been locked in. Unbelievable to start off the 2024 campaign. I mean, he's probably headed at this pace. This guy could be headed to an all-star game. I think that's a relative. That is a realistic goal for Volpe here in his second year with the New York Yankees. But yeah, I agree. As of right now, keep him where he's at. Let him get comfortable and let him do his thing. But with all the good things going on, and by the way, to our chat, shout out to our chat. If anybody does want to join up, we're going to open the line in a little bit for anybody who wants to come in, ask some questions, leave some comments for our panelists. Feel free to join us at any point for the rest of the show. We're going to go to around the 9 o'clock today. So again, Yankees going into game 2 against Zach Gallen tonight. Any expectations? We'll take it around the room once again, starting with Jimmy, Hector, Chris, and Tom, and I'll go for the wrap. How do we see the rest of this series in Arizona panning out against the defending National League champions, starting with Jimmy?
So I've been wrong every single day on Yankees Pod. I predicted a loss opening day. I predicted a loss the second day. And listen, I'm wearing my Yankee pajamas right now. Thankfully, no one can see that. I'm a steady guy when it comes to superstitions. I'm like Silver Linings Playbook. I'm with like De Niro putting the remote this way. So I'm predicting another loss tonight because if I predicted a win, I might burn down this house, unfortunately. But listen, I love the lineup tonight. It's going to be tough. I don't think Nestor Cortez is our best pitcher. And I think that Zach Gallen is their best pitcher. So tonight is if the Arizona Diamondbacks can quote unquote steal one, it's going to be tonight. So let's just hold on to our horses. But again, I predicted a loss. We want me to be continuing predicting losses. I'll tell you that.
Correct. Much. Absolutely correct. How about you, Hector?
Listen, when it comes to Zach Gallen, you got to put respect on that man's name. He was a top top pitcher in the National League last year, pitched over 200 innings. He pitched in the World Series. So you got to put respect on his name. But when it comes to the start of this season, I know a lot of people are saying Yankee fans are sipping the Kool-Aid, and I'm one of them. I'm sipping on the Kool-Aid very well, but I want to be realistic here. Hopefully tonight, when it comes to Nestor Cortez, I want to see Nestor Cortez at bare minimum. Give me 5 innings. Give me 5 innings. If you want to give up 2-3 runs, copy. As long as this Yankees lineup, if we're able to do what we have done over the first 5 games when it comes to making the pitcher work and getting that pitch count high up, and we can get into that bullpen in the 6th or 7th inning. Hey, you never know. We've come back out of the 5 games we've won. We've come back after the 6th inning in 4 of those games. So this may come down to the bullpen game. And so far in this early season, I like how the Yankees lineup deals late game situations.
At this early point of the season, Zach Gallen is the Yankees' toughest test, at least for the pitcher on the mound. But Chris, what are your expectations going into tonight's game and for the rest of the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks?
It's weird because, I didn't expect a sweep in Houston. I don't think anybody did, regardless of how much confidence you went into that series with. A sweep was tough, right? It's even a 4-game sweep. It's tough enough in the league to get a 3-game sweep on anybody, let alone a 4-game one. I would hope 2 out of 3 at least. And like Jimmy said, I mean, if the game they're going to steal at home, this is the game for them, right? They got their best pitcher, and we may have a guy who's kind of figuring some things out, coming off shoulder issues from last year. And he had a rough start, right? So I think this would be the game. But I'm going to go sweep, baby. I'm going to go sweep, baby. I'm going to go sweep. After saying all that, I'm going to go sweep. Now, it's going to be tough. Again, this is a very respectable team. Like, that young lineup is not just a whole bunch of kids that are learning how to play baseball. Up and down that lineup, they have some dogs, just like we do, right? But yeah, I have a lot of confidence because, again, even if we're not getting a lot of hits and Cortez, does give up a couple, like Hector said, our recipe so far has been getting that first guy out and then beating up the bullpen. And we've seen 2 of their better pitchers out of the bullpen last night. Maybe we don't see them tonight, and now we're seeing the B side of their bullpen, and we can definitely beat that up. So, yeah, I'm going in with some confidence that we're going to take this game.
Always confidence with Chris Nieves. That's why I love you, Chris. Chris is always Captain Positivity when it comes to the New York Yankees. He's a beacon of positivity. I absolutely love it. Shout out to my guy, NFE, the Strike Zone. Make sure to give him a sub on his channel. He's growing every day. He's doing a great job over there. He just made this note. Nick Ramirez got traded to the Dodgers in exchange for cash consider. What is with the Dodgers and the Yankees exchanging left-handed relievers? What's the obsession with these 2 organizations?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say something? I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy theorist, Jimmy. You know this. The Yankees and Dodgers are trying to play each other in the World Series. They're trying to both. I mean, because that would be the most watched World Series in ages. You got Ohtani. You got Soto. Freeman.
Nick Ramirez.
Nick Ramirez.
Jesus. I mean, that puts it over the notch, right? That gets from 10 to 12 million views right there. That's an extra 2 million views with Nick Ramirez. So I just think, conspiracy time, they're working in cahoots to get to the World Series together. That's my
okay. The Yankees get 1 Japanese import for once. I mean, come on now. The Dodgers are sharing all the load here. But yeah, Hector, what do you got over there, bud?
May 5th. That's when the 2 U's is going to be at the stadium, right? May 5th is that day?
May 9th.
May 9th. Chris, whatever you have over there that is helping you get these thoughts out of your head, bring some of that. Okay, bring me some. Okay, so I'm gonna say
I don't know what YouTube's terms of service are, so I won't add to that. I don't know.
That's why it's innuendos.
Listen, this is why you have to dot your T's and cross your I's, man. This is a good, fantastic work from you, Chris. Yeah, Hector. Yeah, Hector. All right, another quick shout out before we go with Tom here. To my guy, Damian Serrano. What's going on, Damian? Good to see you in here. CK, another member of Yankees Pod. Who are we missing now, Jimmy? We got CK. We got you and Chris. We just missing Cam?
We got dozens of us. I don't know. We're
missing Luke Cash. Where's Luke Cash?
And I got to shout out my son. You highlighted one of my son's comments earlier. My son is actually on the chat watching right now.
Let's go.
Nice. Let's go.
All right. The Nieves family in the house. Is this him right here?
Yep.
Oh,
hey.
That's my son. My son.
Yeah, well, so quick story behind that. I didn't want to name him my same exact name, where I think Spanish tradition, your first son is a junior. So I named him my son, which is my son, Christian Nieves.
Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. My son with the 4 goats. Appreciate you. And thank you, Chris, for bringing your son, my son, to the chat. Love it. Jacob Petruzzi's in the building. We got to shout out Jacob Petruzzi. Of course, the Morning Brew Sports Crew in full effect. Chicken Man Porto. Hector, I actually just checked out Celso's new morning show. Absolutely love it. It's a different
I was
vibe.
about to say, you talk about positivity. If anybody got some positive vibes in the morning, is my guy Celso Porto. Start the day off nice, 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know the day. I don't even know what time it comes on. But 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, get yourself some positivity.
There you go, Thomas. So when you return to office, that's it. You got to check on.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about return to office.
Also, the TC,
that's not positivity.
Yanks Morning Brew in the house. My guy Al with the big 100 and Mike Perez. Hey, Donny, TC, Hector, Rich, Tom, Jimmy, Chris. We salute to you, Mike Perez. Tom, to continue the question, your expectations on the rest of this Diamondback series that continues at 9:40 p.m. Eastern time tonight.
So it's a bit of a cop-out answer to follow up with what Hector said. I think if the Yankees can get Gallen out of the game early enough, the sooner he's out of the game, the better the chance they have to win. I looked it up. He threw in. He started opening day for the Diamondbacks. He threw 90 pitches, so he's definitely in line to give them 100. Nothing much more than that probably this early in the season. But if the Yankees can work at bats like they have been, that could get him out in the 5th inning. And if we get him out in the 5th inning, I like the Yankees' chances. If Zach Gallen comes out to start the 7th, I don't like the Yankees' chances. So, not to get greedy, would love to go 6-0. I think they can. Nestor has to, he started real shaky on opening day, but then he did settle in. So if he can do that, the Yankees are in the game, 6th, 7th inning, down 1, down 2. I like this team's chances.
Absolutely. I love it. I think tonight will be the tough test. And on to Jimmy's point, again, every time I keep taking the other team, the Yankees end up winning. But Zach Gallen is the tough test. Tom, going back to our player rankings that we revealed, our top 10 starting pitchers, Zach Gallen was number 2. And that's not a fluke that he was at the number 2 position. He deserves to be there, and he's going to be the tough test against the Yankees tonight. I think Gallen will pick up the win for his team. And I do think the Yankees are going to catch Merrill Kelly tomorrow. This offense has just been elite. So I think they will get the Diamondbacks number 2 starter to take the series.
Rich, I got an issue here. There's one absolute clown in the chat, and he goes by Junior Pugs, and he's saying, it's a Yankees pod when you're betting on a team starting Nestor Cortez over Zach Gallen, when all of us said, listen, if the Yankees are going to win, they have to get Gallen out of the game. We're all realistic people, Joe. We're not wild men like you are. We're not. No one came up here and said
this guy out of here.
It's just.
I literally.
I don't think you are.
I literally said I want to be realistic and give respect to Zach Gallen and know that in order for us to win, we got to get into that bullpen. That's as realistic as I can be.
And as far as like odds go right now, let's just say I'm not going to let the chat work me up, but they're both minus 108 on the money line. It's a flip of the coin tonight. So now let's not act like the Arizona Diamondbacks have Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Gleyber Torres in the lineup. Okay, all right, Junior.
Yeah, Mr. Joseph Puglisi. I don't even know if I said it right, but if I did, go ahead and
you probably don't even like pizza.
I
don't
think
get Jimmy riled up.
Pizza, to be fair. Shout out to my guy Joe Puglisi checking in, the double agent on the Mets side of the house from Empire State of Baseball. My guy.
Oh,
Joe,
that's Joe. That's that Joe. That's that Joe from
you
the
knew
Mets.
That was Joe. Come on, you knew that was Joe.
I know him as Joe. No, I know. No. I swear to God, I know him as Joe, not Joseph.
Well,
so I thought it was
just today.
Okay, Yeah,
the Usted version.
Okay.
Wait,
but still, go ahead.
Hector, there was a certain there was a certain shirt you wanted to buy, Joe, right?
Yeah. It's called. I'm gonna get you a T-shirt, Joe. It's gonna be. My name is Joe, and I'm a dick. but I'm still a cool Mets fan. So that's a t-shirt that I'm gonna get for you, my guy. Because like I told Rich before you came into the chat, I found you guys because you had a phenomenal take when it comes to the Hall of Fame, and that's how I found you guys. So I got to give you your credit when it comes to that. You're a very knowledgeable baseball guy, but you're still a dick at the end of the day.
Well, Joseph is his proper name as he highlights here. But hey, guys, we have 128 people here in the damn building. Well, shout out to everybody here. I hope I can get through to everybody. Damn, that I just missed. Joe, you're not getting a shout out this time around. You're set. I believe I didn't shout out Hitman, so I got to give it to Hitman here. I need to plan my sleep schedule around the pods. I hate missing good talks. Shout out to you, Hitman, and give Yankees Vibes a follow and some love over on X. Oh, it's Michael Caputo. I think Yankees win 3-2. Could be wrong about the score, though. Hector, my guy, Michael Caputo, coming through for the friggin' Spaces, showing up for Jimmy Randazzo and the boys.
Shout out to Caputo. That's somebody that I'm really glad seeing Caputo thriving on Yankees Twitter. Thank you guys. Folks, you guys from Yankees Twitter, thank you guys so much because Caputo done got some shit and different chats on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys welcoming him into the conversation.
Absolutely. Also, more familiar names here. Aaron Rodgers without the D. Mets commentators are over their season. So now Mets fans joining the chat. We also have, where's Anthony Garcia? There he is. Anthony Garcia also is in the building. And we have Future. It's my boys. All right. So we have 130 people. So I'm going to do something crazy. I just put the link in to our chat. So if anybody wants to pop up at any point over the next half hour, because we're going to run till about 9 o'clock, and want to ask any questions to our expert panel, our River Ave rotation for the first episode, the debut episode of our show, come on up. We'll drop a comment or a question for the guys, and we'll be happy to take it without an argument. All right. So I do have another question for the panel. I know it's kind of early. Again, we're 5 days in, but do you guys feel like there is a missing piece to this current roster that the team might look into, possibly trade deadline, maybe earlier? Jimmy, starting with you again, we'll take it around the room. Is there a missing piece that this team needs to make this roster full?
Listen, I know that people are going to either say corner infield or closer. It's just way too early, really, for me. I'm really trying to turn a new leaf on the season and be a positive. I can't be negative at all when we're 5-0. If there was one thing right now, I mean, realistically, when you look at other teams, you can always add an elite starting pitcher. So if you told me whether I can add a corner infielder, a closer, or a starting pitcher, I'm always going to take starting pitcher because I think, Nestor Cortez is fine during the season. And, Luis Gil looks great. But, those top three starters in the playoffs, those are the teams that usually win. And I just don't think you can have enough of them because I do like the bullpen. So I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely much easier to try. Well, it's easier to add a starting pitcher and then try to move people along. Because again, as you just mentioned perfectly, you add a starting pitcher. Now you've added a reliever from the depth you already have. So I absolutely agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that take at all. Hector, to you, same question. What piece is missing that can make this team full?
When it comes down to it, you can never have too much pitching, right? And two ways you can look at it: more starting pitching help for this rotation. I know Garrett Cole is coming back, but like I said, you can never have too much. And another bullpen arm. And there's two teams that I'm keeping an eye on. The first one is the Cleveland Guardians. Because if the Cleveland Guardians are going to be sellers at the trade deadline, I'm calling them up and I'm trying to do whatever I can to get Emmanuel Clase. And another pitcher that I'm keeping my eye on, I know he signed with the Angels this offseason, so it may be a kind of a stretch to try to get, but Robert Stevenson, the reliever from the Cincinnati Reds that the Angels were able to pick up, if the Yankees are able to sign him, he signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with the Angels. If the Angels are out of it and they need prospects, the Yankees, we have a lot of outfield prospects that we could trade. Those are two relievers that I'm keeping my eye on. More the Guardians than the Angels, just because if we got to get Shane Bieber from the Guardians just to go along to the starting rotation and the bullpen with Emmanuel Clase, that's a way that I will lean.
Yeah, Clase's been a name that Yankee fans always seem to connect to the Guardians and Yankees too. Definitely one of the more dominant closers game. Where do we, Tom? When we had our relief pitcher ranking, I think Clase was at number 4 for before the season.
Yeah. That top 4. Well, Diaz had kind of separated himself. It's like the 2, 3, 4. I think they were like all like almost tied. He might have came in 4th, but I think if someone would have voted him a little higher, he could have been 2nd easily. It was him, Devin Williams, and someone else.
How about you, Chris? What type of piece would you add to this team?
I mean, the obvious answer is pitching, right? But Bronxy the Turtle, you got to bring him back.
Oh,
you got to get Bronxy back, baby.
I love it.
No, and I hate to say this. This is the positivity in me. I think we're good. If Clay Holmes does struggle, right, and I get the closer role because it is very important. That's what Ian Hamilton and Nick Birdie are for. You can swap them right out. Your closer is already here. These guys' stuff, and again, they have. I don't think neither one has much closer experience. It is a different animal, but they have the stuff, right? I mean, you're watching Nick Birdie and Ian Hamilton, and it's like explosive. They're kind of like teaching us, like, hey, listen, guys, we're here already. Again, that's how I feel. But I won't argue getting a Shane Bieber, right, as a guy who can come in and give you quality innings, quality starts. I know people think that he's past his prime, but we have 2 pitching coaches, in Matt Blake and Garrett Cole. I mean, you can bring almost anybody in, and that person, if that person's a C+, he's now a B-. All he has to do is listen to Blake and Cole. Kind of just, tweak some things, maybe, help the guy out on certain pitches. But yeah, I'm fine right now. 5 games in, and I don't want to get too crazy here, but if we roll with this same team into the playoffs, I have all the confidence in the world.
Plus Garrett Cole.
Hey, yeah,
Miracles?
and Jason Dominguez, and Trevino, and Scott Efros. I mean, DJ LeMahieu. Like, we would literally be making a trade deadline acquisition by getting Cole, Dominguez, and Efros back alone.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with
100%.
it. I'm really fine with it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the Cole, right, the X factor this whole season is going to be is Cole, and I think we all want to hope that he's back. He's allowed to come back starting June 1st. That's what they're targeting. They're saying, but even if he does come back, then what version of Cole is that going to be? Pitchers historically have a tough time if you don't have the full spring training and the full ramp up. They tend to not always be their full self. So not only specifically, I would say a starting pitcher. If we want a team, we're 5-0. We're already making the playoffs, right? I want a starting pitcher who has playoff experience. I want to look at a team who right now, like, it is not going to be a seller, but maybe they will be sellers, and they have a guy or two who has pitched in big games, and that's what I would like, because you got Cole who you trust. But after that, I mean, this Yankee team, I mean, Nestor has a little bit of playoff experience. I'm sure Stroman has a little bit. Rodon, I don't think would have too much of, if anything. And then you got Heel and what's his name? Clark Schmidt. Like, I want a guy that comes in who has like pitched in ALCSs, NLCSs, or World Series. That's what I want, either from the rotation or the bullpen. I think the team needs that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
it's a tough question to ask when you're 5-0. It's a tough question to ask.
Yeah. It's definitely more of a question when we get a little bit more into the crux of the season. Absolutely. But I would say, listen, you add to the pitching staff on either the front end or the back end, it's going to be a need at some point, and something where your team is a playoff team come the trade deadline. You're taking that playoff team to a World Series team. It's going to be very interesting. But let's go to the bullpen here. And the bullpen, as in our first caller. And Donny Clark is going to join us here. So let's bring up Donny Clark. What's going on, Donny? Do you have any questions or comments for our rotation? What's going on, sir?
My fellas, Hector. A1 since day one, my
A1 since day one, my guy.
Rich, I agree with Hector, though, on this one. I said about early in the season about trading for Class A. And if Bieber has to be in that trade conversation to get both him in Class A, it has to be. Only thing concerns me about Bieber is his injury histories. But with Matt Blake, maybe Bieber could be that other guy coming out to be in like a fourth or fifth spot, but with Class A in that back of that bullpen and Clay Holmes in eighth, it'd be shut down.
Yeah, I mean it's a top end. It's a top back end of that bullpen. But Hector, A1 since day one. Do you agree with Donnie Clark here?
Yeah, and I see my guy Joseph Puglisi in the chat right now talking about what it's going to cost to get a manual Class A. When you look at Class A, it's going to be a haul because of he's signed through 2026. It's going to cost us a lot. And if it costs us Spencer Jones, as a Yankee fan, trading Spencer Jones for Class A, no, I'm not trading him straight up. But I'll do this, and maybe you guys call me crazy for this, but if the Cleveland Guardians going to hit that reset button and they're going to want to trade Jose Ramirez, I don't mind giving up Spencer Jones for Jose Ramirez and Emmanuel Clase. I'm just saying that right now.
I think a Peraza could be someone you could see in that move. Someone who's kind of blocked at this point. I'd move him. I don't think that'd be enough. I think it's gonna cost you to get.
It's gonna cost. It'd be Peraza starting, and you're gonna add on top of it. You may, if you have to part with George Lombard Jr. As much as I think this kid is gonna be special at the major league level, it's a conversation that you have to have.
Absolutely, Donnie.
Don't hurt your neck shaking your head. No, Jimmy. don't get a neck.
Oh my God!
No, I know. He's a special.
That's
special kid.
I love that kid.
Well, Donnie, thank you for joining. And by the way, I like to ask, I've been asking some fun questions here. I'll leave you off with this one. Favorite all-time Yankee? Who do you got?
Favorite all-time Yankee? I have to go with Jeter. I have to go with number 2.
That's fair enough. Derek Jeter, the captain. Well, Donnie, thanks for joining. Salute to you, sir. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
can I say something on because I know we're talking about relievers too. I think Clay Holmes gets a lot of unnecessary kind of hate.
I agree.
Clay Holmes, and I talked about it last night on our show. Listen, he's not a strikeout guy. He's a guy who throws his power sinker and he gets contact. He wants to get soft contact. It's the Zach Britton kind of style of pitching. That's going to lead to some guys getting on sometimes, and that does lead to him sometimes walking people. But if you look at what his actual body of work the past couple of years, he has been as good as almost any closer in baseball over the past couple of years. There's been some cardiac moments, some guys on base, maybe he gets bailed out every once in a while, but he really is right up there with, if you look at his numbers with anyone else. Like Tom said,
my fault. I just want to say, like Tom said, he's a ground ball pitcher, right? And when the ball is put on the ground, he's doing his job. Clay Holmes, he is off when he can't find the strike zone, when he's walking guys, when he's giving up that slider that looks like a batting practice fastball for a home run. That's when Clay Holmes is not on his game.
I think in the playoffs or games that really matter, because with that kind of pitching, if you're gonna let's say this roster is the same as it is now, and you have like an Oswaldo or DJ at third, Volpe at short, and then maybe even late in games you put Birdie at second and Rizzo at first. That is a very good defensive infield, and I think that is something that could be a formula. Glaber's defense sometimes is a little lacking. So I think that could be something that they look to do towards the end of the season to kind of get that gameplay going, because he's going to give up ground balls. It's going to happen. You got to field them.
Yep.
Jimmy, what's your confidence level in Clay Holmes on a scale of 1 to 10?
I guess it's like a 7, but it's not Clay Holmes. It's the 7 or 8 names that are in the bullpen. I like Caleb Ferguson. I like Johnny Lozano. I like these guys. And listen, the Yankees, the past 15 years have been bullpen. How about the fact that we just have a very powerful offense? Our offense is better than other teams' offenses, and the makeup of the team is a little bit different. But to tell us that we can't win a championship with Clay Holmes as a closer is an outrage, because they're gonna play the matchups, and there's 7 or 8 guys that I really do like. And we dropped Clayton Beater too. Clayton Beater's another guy who can get outs. I have faith in the pitch. I will have faith in this pitching. Again, it's a lot different to see the Yankees score 5 runs. Like, I'd rather be losing games 6-5 than what we were seeing last year was 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 4-1. I'm not worried about the pitching, really. And I think that Clay Holmes is, a top 10 closer So I don't think that, like, I think Yankee fans are so used to having the best bullpen, and we're that's just like in our DNA.
Yeah.
But having the best offense is just as cool. Let me tell you that.
And guys, who was the Rangers won the World Series last year? Who was their closer? Did they have a top closer?
It was Jose Leclerc, but he didn't even get the last out in the World Series.
That's my point, guys. Like this idea that you need to have like one of the top 2 or 3 closers in baseball to win the World Series is laughable. You don't need it. I mean, even the D-backs last year, who was Seawald like technically their closer?
Yeah, Seawald. Yeah.
So again, right, like those 2 teams make the World Series, and they didn't have the greatest closers. You know, they didn't have top 10 closers in baseball. Clay Holmes is better than both of those guys.
The best closer is probably not even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Edwin Diaz, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
The lateral violence to Joe and the Mets fans is crazy.
Yeah, Joe, shut your ears there. All right, I'm making another call of bullpen. We're going to throw it over to Hitman over from the Yankees Vibes. Check them out, 7 to 8 on Space. The Space game's going nuts, right, Jimmy? We got Spaces all over the place, and Hitman's a host of one of them over at Yankees Vibes. What's going on, Hitman? How you doing?
Hitman, de lo mío personal.
What's going on, fellas? How's everything going?
How you doing, sir?
Hitman looks like he's about to put a hit out on someone. Walking the streets at night.
Yeah, I'm about to head to work shortly.
What's going on, Hitman? Any thoughts, questions, concerns? What do you got?
Well, a lot of the stuff Hector said, I 100% agree with. I was talking to Joe in the chat. He says that the Yankees have to give up Spencer Jones. I strongly disagree with that. To get Class A, I would even do something like that. So I just thought if the Yankees could get maybe at the deadline of a Shane Bieber and possibly another bullpen arm like a Karen Shank might help as well. We don't need to get Class A. Another solid bullpen arm like Karen Shank that throws strikes would be great.
Oh my God! Could you
Well,
imagine?
if you want throwing strikes, I don't know if I want him.
Aaron Jack joining Verdugo and Stroman. Oh my God! The amount of personality in that mix. My goodness. I
like it,
man. I do like it. So, Chris, let me throw it to you then. What do you think? You add Shane Bieber, you add a James Karinchak to a possible Shane Bieber deal down the line.
I mean, I guess I don't mind. I mean, addition doesn't hurt. For the most part, but addition doesn't hurt. Me personally, if we were going for Bieber, I'm trying to keep some of these prospects because obviously Soto will be getting some money from us. Probably won't be bringing back Glaber. I know there's money coming off the books, but there's going to be other holes to fill. Pretty sure Nestor's gone as well. So yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to spend too much right now on a 2-piece from the Guardians. I was about to say Indians. Sorry, guys. I would rather, again, if we're gonna make the deal for Bieber, just get Bieber, keep everybody else out the deal. What do you guys want for this solo man? That is it. And again, adding Pippen is fine, but if you're adding a Class A, everybody that calls it, it's like Spencer Jones.
Yep, absolutely. And listen, Bieber's been an interest of mine for a long time to join this Yankees team. But Hitman, I do appreciate you coming in. And again, where can they check you? Yankees Vibes on X from 7 to 8?
Yes, sir. We'll be on 7 to 8, Monday through Friday.
My guy. Hitman, thanks for joining, bud. Take care.
You guys have a good one.
So
I cut him off immediately there, unfortunately. Yeah, go for it, Tom.
Yeah, Rich. So real quick, I was trying to see what would the best guess of like a Class A trade be, and there's probably no elite closer who's been traded more often in the last decade than Craig Kimbrell, even though he's fallen off as of late. He was probably one of the 1 or 2 best closers in baseball. Now, some of these trades he may not, it might have only been like a rental, but you look at some of the names in there. You got Cameron Maben, Carlos Quentin. Logan Allen, like none of these Manuel Margot, like these aren't guys that AJ Pollock is part of one of these trades. Like they're not relievers aren't going to cost you your number 1 prospect. It's just they're not.
Yeah, there's rare occasions when that does happen, obviously the Chicago Cubs trading Gleyber Torres for Aroldis Chapman, that comes to recent memories. But the Cubs were very desperate. They wanted to win a World Series, and the Yankees had the need that everybody wanted, and that was Andrew Miller, and that was Aroldis Chapman. So if you're the Cubs, you got to get desperate. I don't think there's another team out there that's as desperate as the Chicago Cubs were to win a World Series. So yeah, I don't think it's going to cost that much. And listen, prospects at the end of the day, they're all lotto tickets. We hope they pan out. We don't know what they're going to be. We've seen so many different prospects that were supposed to be the next great star, and they never panned out to anything. Joey Bart from the San Francisco Giants, he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Buster Posey. He just got designated for exciting and got picked up by somebody else.
Yeah, Jacob Amaya, who is top prospect for the Marlins, also cut. Jimmy, you had a point?
Yeah, I think that the name that we're going to see, and again, we're far into the trade deadline right now, but Everson Pereira, I think, is the name that you want to see on the list, and not because of his talent. I think he's got good talent. But when you look at Dominguez, and you're going to want Soto and Judge and Spencer Jones, and those are going to be your 4 outfielders. So I think Everson Pereira is the odd man out. And also, he looks good. So you can go to a general manager and be like, no, this guy is actually good. As opposed to, no offense, Everson Pereira, Oswald Peraza, who can't really hit. And then a couple other guys I know. And I had to say, Hector was talking about trading my baby boy, George Lombard Jr. No, thank you. That kid is like, when we were talking about defensive replacements, options for DJ LeMahieu, if the kid wasn't 18 years old, that kid is just as good as any backup outfield, anybody in the minor leagues right now. That's the only reason why I shook my head at my guy Hector. But Everson Pereira is the name. So what can you get for Everson Pereira so you don't have to mortgage the future and you still have that 4 like beast outfielders?
Absolutely. And while he's still in AAA, you hope that he just maximizes his value and continues to prove that why he was a blue chip prospect to begin with. So yes, Chris, before I turn it over to the bullpen again, but go for it, Chris. What do you got?
Yeah, just memo to all teams. Stop asking for Spencer Jones. Please. It's not gonna happen. I mean, if we ask for a Manny Machado, right? That I'm just spitballing here, right? We want Spencer Jones. And then we ask somebody for a John Birdie. We want Spencer Jones. Stop asking us for Spencer Jones.
We weren't going to trade Spencer Jones for Corbin Burns, which I think the Yankees should have considered that. But
me too.
If you're not going to get one of the top starting pitchers in baseball, like I don't know what you think you're going to get for Spencer Jones.
They didn't include him in the Soto deal. Again, like you just said, with the Burns, like that was what the disconnect with them was. What for Burns was Jones. Nobody's gonna get him, guys. Stop asking us. Go ahead, Rich.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to call it to the bullpen once again. And this time we're going to bring up my guy, NFE, the Strike Zone. Give him a follow and subscribe on YouTube. NFE, if I'm not mistaken, you could do the plug better than I can. I believe you go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. to 11, correct?
That is correct. And just so everybody knows, this coming Thursday, I'm going to go on a little bit early just because I have something else going on later that morning that I need to take care of. So be on the lookout.
Awesome. NFB, any questions, comments? What do you got in Yankee universe?
I'm liking how this team has started out, and hopefully it continues this way. At some point they will lose. It's just a matter of when, right? I'm not saying I want them to lose, but it's gonna happen, right? As far as tonight's matchup goes, I mean, it's gonna be a tough game. Zach Gallen versus Nestor Cortez, and Gallen's a solid pitcher. He's a gamer. So, let's see how this lineup does. And you guys were talking about maybe getting players at the trade deadline. As of right now, I wouldn't consider anybody at the moment, but if they do, I would say to go after pitching. I never complain about the Yankees getting too much pitching, which they already do anyway. I mean, they made a couple of moves recently. So if they were to add any more players to this team, I would just add pitching to this team.
Yeah, It's the solid answer. Pitching is the premium position. It's a sought after position, especially when we come to the trade deadline. But NFE, I really appreciate you dropping in, sir.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hey, again, everybody, make sure to subscribe to NFE over at the Strike. So NFE, if you don't mind, drop your link also in the chat as well. We got 137 people in the building, and if you don't have at least 137 subscribers out of this chat, I don't know what to tell you. So come on, let's drop that link in. Thank you very much, sir, and have a great rest of your night. Take care.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
we got
NFE.
one more call to the bullpen, and that's gonna be my guy, Ghost. What's going on, Ghost? Is he an actual ghost right there? He is.
Mi hermano, my guy.
Buena gente. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Ghost,
Yeah. What's going on, guys?
Vibes crew. What's going on, Ghost? What do you got out of Yankee land? Questions, comments, concerns? What's up?
I'm not concerned at all, man. Like I said, the Yankees have been hot. The Yankees have been cooking, and I've just been happy to see the boys doing well. And I think that's one of the most important things you got to do. And also, let's show a little love to Waldo Cabrera, a little bit of Oswaldo power. You know what I mean? Got to show some love to him as well, and to you guys as well. You guys are fantastic. Hector, Jimmy, Chris, Tom, Rich, you guys are the best, man. Truly, truly the best.
No, you're the man, Ghost.
Rich, may I get 5 seconds? 5 seconds. Ghost. You show the top of your shirt. I know what T-shirt you're wearing. I have the same exact Yu Yu Hakusho T-shirt. I got the same T-shirt, my guy. That's why you my brother from another mother, my guy, because I got the same thing. I knew when I saw just the text on top, I saw that. I knew exactly what shirt that was. I'm sorry.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Me and you go talk.
100%. Ghost, thanks for checking in, man. Really do appreciate it, sir. So, Ghost, everybody. And again, make sure to give them Yankees vibes of following some love over on X. All right, Thomas, it's now Roback time. Let's talk about our friends over at Roback.
Let's talk about them. And listen, I got the Roback Q-Zip on today. For those of you unfamiliar with Roback, they make the most comfortable polos, Q-Zips, hoodies. They got shorts, they got joggers, they got a bunch of nice women's stuff out there as well. If you are a golf fan, you know, their roots are in golf. They got their Azalea collection out with the Masters coming up next week. A lot of really cool, like, Masters. They got the floral stuff. They also got you some plain, the greens and the yellows that will be, you know, very traditional. But the polo I need to tell you about, I was telling you guys about last night. They got a new one called the Bleacher Creature. It's a polo with baseball bats, and it just happens to be navy blue and white and gray. It just happens to be those colors, and it happens to be called the Bleacher Creature. And I think if you're a Yankee fan, that is, if you're looking for a nice, fresh new polo, that would be number one on my list for sure. A lot of other cool stuff as well. Check out their website. If you use promo code TWASPL15, that's going to get you 15% off your first order as long as your email address has not been used with them before. We always have our link to information on that on all our socials if you want to check it out. But again, I'll tell you, I have a bunch of their stuff, and it is the most comfortable clothes that I own. I wish I could just like live in it all the time. Roback.com, promo code TWASPL15.
You heard the man. Roback.com. I do have one of their Q-Zips. Extremely comfortable. You can move around in it. It's not so tight. It's perfectly warm for a cold office, and it's perfectly cool for a warm office. Go get yourself a Q-Zip over our Roback. Thank you very much, Thomas. And speaking of Roback, we're going to actually have a little bit more fun before we close out for the night. I got a little game for our panel, for Hector, Chris, and Jimmy. And we did play this game last night on Empire State of Baseball. It is Trick of the Trade. Of course, we're going to Yankee-fy this one with our Trick of the Trade. So let's throw this up, and we're going to try to guess the missing component of this previous New York Yankees trade here. So the Yankees, in December 16, 2003, would acquire Javier Vasquez from the Montreal Expos. They would send Randy Choate, Nick Johnson, and this mystery player. Who is said mystery player? Shout it out.
Juan Rivera. I'm obsessed with Javier
Oh
Vasquez.
my God.
I'm obsessed with this trade. I know this trade like the back of my hand.
Wow. All right. Hector,
Huge.
you're the man. Juan Rivera is the correct answer.
Oh, Hector, that was phenomenal. Are you kidding me? What a
Wow.
goal.
Javier Vasquez.
Immediately.
Javier Vasquez was, I think, right? Wasn't he the Yankees are doing kind of like the almost not a similar thing to this, but they're putting like this guy played for these teams. Here's some stats on him, and I think he was the guy last night, right, on the game.
Yeah, he was the guy last night for the game. Solid career, over 2,500 career strikeouts for one time.
I was shocked by that he had 2,500 strikeouts.
I think he was an all-star with the Braves the year before we traded for him, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, either the Braves or the White Sox. Listen, I'm a Puerto Rican. I'm a very loud and proud Puerto Rican. I love Javier Vasquez because he was one of our starting pitchers in the first World Baseball Classic that ever happened in 2006 with my favorite Yankee of all time, Bernie Williams, leading it off.
I should have known better.
Rich is so disappointed right now. You can't stump the Schwab, Rich.
All right, well, I got to up the difficulty level for the next time around. God,
Rich is hurt. I did it to him last night too, so he's 0 for 2 for 2.
I'm taking it easy on you guys. I can't keep doing it. I'm just gonna.
Rich is basically like Rich is the Mets.
Who only played one game, and make sure you guys try to guess that one. My goodness,
Rich is the Mets trick of the trade. He can't win.
To be fair, Rich, last year I did a deep dive on Brian Cashman's entire trade history with the New York Yankees. So I know like every one of Brian Cashman trades dating back to 1998. Like when the Yankees traded Mike Lowe for some bum reliever that only pitched a few innings with the Yankees when we needed a third baseman to replace Scott Brosius. Yeah, that's how obsessed I was with that list.
Crazy stuff. Well, Javier Vasquez, who made 2 stints with the Yankees, and it wasn't the Javier Vasquez that they had acquired in both those deals. And even with Nick Johnson too. My favorite thing about Nick Johnson is when the Yankees brought Johnson back in 2010, they were trying to go down this route where they were getting away from the typical DH and they wanted to go down the flex route. That's why they let Johnny Damon go in free agency. They let Hideki Matsui go in free agency. But they picked up Nick Johnson to just fulfill that role. And Nick Johnson was an absolute bum for them in 2010. So stupid trade, stupid signing for them.
Nick Johnson, come on.
I got to put respect on Nick Johnson's name.
I like that guy. I like him a lot. I'm sorry. He's a fatso, but I liked him.
He just looked like a first baseman.
Yeah.
That's like my Chase Headley, right? I think we've had this conversation before. I still to this day love Chase Headley, and I don't know why. I can't explain to you. I don't know why. I love that guy. He probably hit like 212, and to this day, I will go to bat for him every day of the week.
Chase Headley is the most vanilla baseball player that's ever existed.
Ever. Good with the glove, but couldn't hit for anything. And I will still defend him for the life of me, and I don't know why.
We all got those guys.
And you're the only one who would put that fight up. Even Chase Headley wouldn't put that fight up. But
Chase
all right, Chris.
Chase Headley, I would say he had a solid, 1 year, I think, with the San Diego Padres. He became very popular. And, he was okay when it came defensively. But, yeah, I agree with all of you guys.
So I learned my lesson tonight. Again, I got to step up the difficulty meter on these games. I can't take the panel lightly. But I do appreciate Hector jumping in from immediately. I didn't even finish the Z of Vasquez. He had his hand up. But no, good on you guys. Fantastic stuff. And we are going to close this thing. Had a lot of fun tonight talking Yankees. We're going to do this again in about a month's time. But before we go, I want to throw it around the room for all the plugs out there. Obviously, starting with Jimmy Randazzo. Chris with 162-0. Is that you? What is this? 162-0. All right. We're holding you to it now. Jimmy Randazzo, we'll start with you. What do you want to plug? How to follow? Go for it, man. You take the floor.
Listen, I don't want to plug myself right now. I want to plug every single person out there. Listen, there are so many ridiculously smart Yankee fans out there. You know my name. I'm on Twitter. I'm the guy that yells a lot. We do Yankees Pod at noon. But there are so many people just from the Little Yankees Pod that are starting their own shows, creating, making Rich's jobs easier, making Hector's jobs easier, making Chris's job easier, Tom's job easier. So everybody out there, just keep on continuing what you're doing.
Salute to you.
I agree.
Hector, toss it to you, man.
Yeah, you guys know me, Hector, one of the founders of Morning Brew Sports, host of Yanks Morning Brew, Knicks Morning Brew as well. I'm a piggyback of what Jimmy just said. Shout out every other Yankee content creator or just every other content creator that's out there. Whether you do sports, whether you do video games, keep pursuing your dream. Never listen to other people that are scared to make that jump, because why would you take advice from other people when they were scared to bet on themselves? Bet on yourself and follow your dreams. You could be wherever you want to be. And like always, always look out and collaborate with other people. I love my guy, Richie Rivera. Tom, you do great work as well. Shout out to the other guys as well when it comes to the Empire State of Baseball. The two Met guys, even though they're Met fans, they still got a place in my heart at the end of the day. And of course, shout out to Yankees Twitter and everybody else that's out there. And another random Brian Cashman trade. When the Yankees traded for David Justice, we traded Ricky LeDay, Jake Westbrook, Zach Day to the Cleveland Indians at the time for David Justice. If we would have never did that, we would have never re-signed him, and that stopped us from getting Ichiro. I cannot stand you, Brian Cashman, for these stupid-ass trades.
And Jake Westbrook had a solid career himself. How about you, Chris? We'll throw it over to you.
No, I mean, I do my space every day at 1 after Yankees pod. Jimmy's not going to plug, but I'm going to plug for him. Yankees pod from 12 to 1. And then I'm on my page, Allentown's Finest, from about 1 to 2:30. Now, when we're on Jimmy's page, we're a little more professional. When we're on my page, you might get a couple more curse words. It is X. We get a little wild on there. But it's all love. And again, like Heck said, I'll repeat that, man. Shout out to all the content creators, all the guys, making YouTube videos, doing spaces, building and writing articles, whatever you're doing, right? We support each other. Look at, you brought NFE up. We're shouting out the Strike Zone. You got Rich up here. You got Morning Brew. You got Yankees Pod. Tom does his stuff. I'm trying to help. Well, Tom looks like he shaved my beard about 3 times during this whole thing. He pissed at me. But we're trying to get Tom into the spaces as well. Well, I think I flipped over a little bit over here. But it's the end of the show. Don't worry about it. But yeah, shout out to all you guys. I appreciate the love and support. And go Yankees, baby.
I love it. Chris, always an entertainer. Tom, I mean, that was fantastic. Again, on behalf of Tom and I, Jimmy, Hector, Chris, thank you so much for your time on the River Ave rotation, the first edition of the River Ave rotation. Tom, any final words of wisdom?
I just thank Jimmy, Hector, Chris, chat. Thanks everyone for being here. This was a lot of fun. Cutting the fat out, getting the Mets fans out of here, and let's just talking about the Yankees here. Don't have to hear about Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso and all those bums. Talking about the Yankees having a lot of fun. Let's go win tonight.
Let's go win tonight. Big game against Zach Gallen of the Arizona D-backs. But on behalf of Tom, Jimmy, Hector, Chris, and myself, we want to thank you so much for joining us on this first edition of the River Ave rotation. Until next time, take care.